Hey, what is up YouTube? Jirachi here. Today for our Monotype video, we are doing the Steel type team. Very strong type. I think it's, in my opinion, it's the strongest type right now. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Fairy's also up there, Fire, some of the types. I have a podcast out right now, a series on my podcast going over my Monotype tier list. Go check that out if you want to know my opinions about other like strong tier types and low tier types and whatnot. It's a very good watch in my opinion, or a very good listen to, since I guess you're not really watching much, you're just listening. Anyway, like I said, we have Steel here, Mega Scizor, Skarmory, Heatran, Ferrothorn, excadrill, and magnezone. Very strong team overall, a little bit more on the defensive side. I know some Steel type teams actually like to run more of a bulky offensive team, or at least have some more offensive pressure. However, I usually think that excadrill, Mega Scizor, and magnezone can get most of the killing done, while Skarmory, Heatran, Ferrothorn wall out a lot of the metagame. Up first, we have Mega Scizor, Scizorite set here with Technician. Beforehand, you can maybe choose Light Metal. It never really helped me at all, so sometimes it is nice to have Technician if you want to give away that you're Mega. Maybe make them think that you are Choice Band. It's always a viable option to try to do that as well. Swords Dance, Roost, Bullet Punch, and Swords Dance. I meant U-Turn. I think I accidentally deleted one of the moves, so this is a U-Turn. I don't know what's going on with that. U-Turn, Roost, Bullet Punch, and Swords Dance. With its HP investment here, we're trying to get a bit more bulkier because after the Swords Dance, you're already been doing a lot of damage. 48 EVs in the defense gives it a little bit more physical bulk as well, helping tank some hits that it usually wouldn't be able to tank otherwise. And 212 speed. I think usually they recommend like 208 for Scizor, so I usually like to put up 4 more to kind of outspeed some other things. I think that also outspeeds stuff like Adamant, Fish Sharp, and some other things like that in the 70 to 75 range. So if they're like Adamant, you'll be able to outspeed them now. And we run a Special Defense Nature, it gives you some special bulk as well. If you want to look up more of the actual details of like all the individual calcs, Smogon does a great thing on the Scizor page. I'll link to all the ones because a lot of these Pokemon on the Steel type team have a lot of like really weird EV sets. I don't want to waste too much time going over all the specifics on those. So I'll link those. I'll link to all the analysis for each of the Pokemon, and you can see why I chose them to do the way I did. Obviously, Scizor. Oh, one more thing. Scizor is obviously a great pivot. It works really well early games, getting in stuff like excadrill, which doesn't want to switch in usually, and it can also switch in the walls, giving you free damage, and then kind of chipping off as well. Skarmory's up next here. Defog, Roost, Stealth Rock, and Iron Head. Obviously a Life Orb sturdy set. For its HP investment, we have 252 and then 232 defense plus. And then we have 24 in speed to outspeed other stuff like Skarmory's around base 70. There's a lot of Pokemon in that area. If you put about 24 EVs in investment, you're not going to have to worry about that too much. Other than that, pretty standard set here with Defog, and Stealth Rock may seem a little controversial, but your team isn't that weak to Defog, but they have a lot of stuff set up you can Defog, but usually you'll be setting up Stealth Rocks and switching back out because most of your team does resist Stealth Rocks. Iron Head instead of Brave Bird to help keep it alive and not break it sturdy, and Roost obviously can keep it healthy throughout most of the fight. Up next, we have my favorite Pokemon on the team, obviously Heatran here. Air Balloon with Flash Fire. With the Flash Fire and Air Balloon, it gives you 2 great immunities for this team because obviously Ferrothorn is weak to fire, and then Heatran's immune to it. It actually gives him a boost, as is Scizor, Excadrill, Magnezone, and Skarmory. The whole team is, obviously. And then Air Balloon, a lot of your team is obviously weak to ground as well, so it's nice to having a second flyer, technically, before you get hit, as Skarmory itself is usually weak to a lot of things that they're also weak to, especially on the special end of the spectrum. Lava Plume, Flash Cannon, Earth Power, Protect. You can run Taunt, Toxic, Stealth Rocks on this instead if you want to give Skarmory another move. I think it's a little bit more viable to run Stealth Rocks on Skarmory. Lava Plume obviously just great stab as well. Flash Cannon gives you a nice matchup against Fairies, although you already have a pretty good one against them. Earth Power gives you some nice coverage as well against other Heatrans if they have their Air Balloon popped, and it makes for some nice predicts, I guess, as well. And Protect obviously is a great scouting move, very important on a defensive team like this. HP investment, we have 248, 136 special defense plus, and 124 speed, so kind of like a defensive threat that also has a little bit more of a speed. It outspeeds a lot of walls and stuff, so I definitely recommend running Taunt if you don't want to run Protect, or if you want to get rid of like Earthquake and keep your stabs. That's also a very good option, kind of walls out stuff like Chanseys and stuff, although it will take you forever to kill them. They won't put anything going if you just keep taunting them. Up next we have Ferrothorn. He's a great partner for Heatran, being obviously resisting water, and usually tanks the fighting hits a little bit better at least. Leftovers and Iron Barbs. You can obviously run Rocky Helmet if you want, however I like the extra survivability, get some more spikes up and some Thunder Waves out. He also has Leech Seed and Power Whip. I don't like running Gyro Ball with the Thunder Wave, so I would, if you want to run Gyro Ball, get rid of Thunder Wave. However, you already have a Steel type move on Skarmory and Excadrill and Magnezone and Heatran, so the Steel type move isn't really that important on Ferrothorn. So that's why most people run Power Whip over it. Obviously, you have that accuracy issue, but it is nice having a nice, super effective move against types like ground and water, which you generally struggle against. And then his EV spreads are also kind of whack. I have a bit more in special defense, only a little bit in defense, because Skarmory is already pretty much the best physical wall you could ask for. And then 252 in HP makes him a pretty solid mixed wall. Very helpful for a lot of like teams that like to run that more all the offensive type teams. And there's a lot more offensive stuff in Monotype because, you know, your core can't necessarily can't cover as much as in like typical OU, even like doubles, you know, your defensive mons can't cover as much. Excadrill here, Choice Scarf set. Obviously, you could maybe run some kind of Sand Setter. I'm not really sure how this team would really want to do it. I think Ferrothorn can run Sandstorm. I think it's kind of like hard to get off sometimes, and it kind of limits the options of Ferrothorn. And then obviously your team doesn't like benefit from the rocks because no one else on the team is rocks. Is a rock type, so obviously you're not going to benefit from that either. But we have Iron Head, Rock Slide, Earthquake, Rapid Spin. Rapid Spin may seem a little weird. However, you don't really have any good options since you're running Choice Scarf. Some sets will run Sword Stance. Obviously, a Choice Scarf set can't. And his EV investment is actually pretty simple. 252 speed, 252 attack. Speed Nature here, trying to outspeed a lot of other Scarf users as well if possible. And we also have a Choice Scarf on Magnezone here. Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Fire, and Flash Cannon, and then obviously pretty much the same thing with Speed Nature again, would outspeed a lot of things. Like if they're not Choice Specs, Keldeo and Infernape, that's good, but if they are Choice Scarf, I mean, if they are Choice Scarf, then you're kind of in an issue because you can't outspeed them, and neither can Excadrill. So if you really want, you can run Choice Specs on Magnezone. However, you don't struggle too much against a lot of Steel types because you have stuff like Heatran, and not so much Scizor, but like mostly Heatran can take care of a lot of Steel types. Between like Celestelia, Skarmory, Ferrothorn, you can take out opposing Heatrans, Scizors. Heatran's already kind of a really good Steel killer, so Magnezone's pretty much just extra insurance against it. I wouldn't run Analytic, obviously. You could run Sturdy maybe, but Magnet Pool is not bad at options still to trap some Steel types, and you can still get kills off on them because they can be kind of pesky for a lot of your sweepers, like not your sweepers, but like a lot of your team, like Excadrill, Ferrothorn. Obviously, Skarmory can't do much against them, and neither can Scizor, so it's nice to have an extra option. And while Steel has some good options, I think Magnezone with the Electric-type moves are actually pretty important for the team. And obviously, the fact that you have two Choice Scarf users actually gives you a good bit of speed options. So even if they set up a little bit, you can sometimes outspeed them if they're like slower setup sweepers. That's all I really have for the team analysis here. I have 3 fights for you guys today. One of the fights is super long. It kind of showcases the whole team as a whole, not like, you know, 1 or 2 members does really well for the team and the rest of the members don't really show much action. So it's going to take up a lot of the time I have, but I think it definitely showcases the team a bit more than like the shorter fights where people forfeit. Alright, for our first fight here against King 22 King, he has a Steel type, so we got a Steel duo fight going here. I think with this team I went like 7-3, something like that, maybe 7-4. I didn't do as many fights as I did in the last few types. I didn't enjoy Steel as much as I thought I would. Back in like Gen 6, I used a lot of stall teams and like defensive teams, so I thought I would like it a lot. However, even though I think I like the team a lot, I think it's a good team. I just didn't like the play style as much as I used to. I'm favoring a lot more with the offensive teams now. The matches go a lot quicker usually, although you'll see in some of these fights people forfeit pretty early on. I've been forcing a lot of forfeits lately, which is pretty nice. I guess since I've been playing through a lot of the teams, I feel like I've gotten better at playing in the fact that I know what most teams are going to be going for, what a lot of the options are. I'm more knowledgeable about all the other types. With my first few types I would play with, like Ice and Rock, probably not the best choices for my first types either. I didn't know what other teams were doing as much. Now I can predict, okay, what is this team going to do? And I think that's really important. So not just to stick with one type and play with only that type of that team even. Play some other types. You can learn what other play styles are going to be like, and that kind of helps give you more information on, like, you know, not only how to build your team, but how to fight other teams, which is, I think, very, very important. But for his team right here, we have Jirachi, probably a Choice Scarf set. That's what most Jirachi sets are nowadays. Lucario obviously can't be Mega. Empoleon, you would assume Mega Steelix. Bronzong, which is kind of a weird choice, I guess. You only have, I guess they're known for like what, range setting, and like I think they can use Trick Room, so that's kind of another option they can have. And Steel's pretty slow in general, so. And then obviously a Heatran, which almost every Steel type runs. For the lead options here, I thought, okay, maybe Jirachi, maybe Lucario. That's kind of weird to see though. He actually uses his Heatran here. Gets a nice read against my Scizor. I usually like to lead with Scizor and U-turn out. I do have a few other options. I get lucky here. I get to predict in the Flash Fire on Heatran's a very good common switch in. And his Heatran obviously can't do much to mine unless it Flash Cannons, but then if he would have let that off, my Scizor could have gotten a free hit. Scald's going to do about 12% there to my Ferrothorns. I get a free chance to start going for moves. I guess he thought I would switch out into like, I don't even know what. But he ends up getting a burn here. I paralyzed him. I guess maybe he thought I'd switch into like, Excadrill would have taken just about as much damage anyway. He goes for the Ice Beam finally. Maybe it was a misclick, I don't know, but he made a mistake going for a Scald twice, give me a free chain in the lead sheet afterwards, and now I can start setting up some spikes. He actually switches out into Lucario now, and I'm like, okay, I'll try to paralyze this thing. Obviously, it's probably just going to kill us with close combat, or like Force Palm. Goes for the Blaze Kick, actually. And we find out that he's Life Orb here, so I don't have to worry about him being Choice Scarf. I can go with Max Excadrill knowing I'm faster. And maybe he thought I wasn't Scarf, and then he stays in, I get the Earthquake, and I kill him there, and he forfeits. At that point, I wasn't too worried about the rest of his team. Jirachi could kill me in a hit, and I could Earthquake that. I could basically Earthquake most of his team, besides maybe Bronzong and Steelix, obviously, it would be kind of hard to do that with. but I could probably wall them out enough and keep forcing them out, and then wear them down over time. Obviously, Heatran also has the lava plumes against a lot of them, which will do a lot of damage as well. Skarmory's not going to die anytime soon. I can set up Stealth Rocks and weaken them down. I was in a pretty good spot in that fight. I didn't really need Ferrothorn at that point, but he really needed Lucario to break through most of my core. Alright, up next we have battle against Mcclatchy. This is the fight that took like over 40 turns, I believe. He has a Linoon, Kecleon, Meloetta, Audino, which is really weird to see, Snorlax, and Cinccino, right? Yeah. Not really running a Mega. I thought he would be running Mega Audino, but apparently not. He ends up leading with that against my Scizor here, so I thought, okay, maybe I could Swords Dance. I wasn't sure if they really had Will-O-Wisp or not, but we Bullet Punch here. It's about way less than I thought. Luckily, we missed the Fire Blast. You will see some hacks on both sides here, so it does even out eventually. I U-turn out here. He luckily goes into Snorlax, so his Audino doesn't take too much damage, I guess. Although I think it would probably do about the same amount of damage. Anyway, Iron Head here doesn't do nearly as much as I thought. He gets a crit there with the Body Slam. Doesn't matter too much, though. We Iron Head and finish him off. And that's his Snorlax down, but I wasn't too worried about that thing with my team. A lot of defensive mons that can kind of wall it out, even if it's like a rest curse set, you know. He goes into his Meloetta here. I protect, thinking maybe he'd go for like a fighting type. Maybe he actually goes for Secret Power, and I was like, is that like still normal? Which obviously it is. Hey, he ends up breaking my Air Balloon, but I wasn't too worried about the rest of his team having anything. Of course, he gets the Paralyze hacks there. Lava Plume does a lot less than I thought it would. Luckily, we get for the Protect there, thinking, okay, he has to have close combat. It definitely has like Relic Song to transform. I was kind of surprised he didn't go for that earlier, and kind of surprised that they were running Secret Power on it. Goes into his Kecleon here. We actually end up tanking the Scizor's Fire Punch, but does get the burn, so that really hurts. We would have gotten a free chance to go for a Bullet Punch. May not do that much damage, but you know, or we could have at least went for a U-turn and maybe kept him alive. But he ends up going with the Sucker Punch here and taking my excadrill as well, so we're in a really bad spot. We're kind of just down to the walls. I thought maybe I should just forfeit this fight. I wasn't actually doing too well with this team at this point either. I lost like 2 of the first 4 fights, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose this one too. This team's a joke. What am I doing here? I had to rebuild the whole team. I was kind of upset. I actually ended up staying in the fight, and I think this is a good lesson to always stay in a fight until it's like, you know, you're down to like one person who's just going to die. You know, at that point, it's kind of scummy to forfeit, but you know, I get it. But at this point, you should definitely stay in, even though you have a disadvantage here. We ended up fading the Linoon. It was kind of weird that he sacked that off like that. I guess maybe he thought his Meloetta would win. I kind of had to give up Heatran there. Nothing wants to switch into a Meloetta's close combat. Not even really Skarmory, because in case it goes for like a Relic Song, puts me to sleep. I didn't want to take the risk. He goes for the Secret Power there, and we Iron Head just barely lives, giving me a free chance to go for another close combat. And you see why I didn't want to switch in. This is about actually a third of my health to Skarmory. However, obviously, if I would have switched it in, he could have killed him in a hit earlier. But that's fine. He goes into Audino here. I Iron Head. Maybe it is Mega. He just ends up not Megaing. Luckily, he misses the Fire Blast there. We do get a little bit of hacks. However, obviously, something happened against us earlier with that Scizor feigning and the paralysis on Heatran. So it ends up being about fair. We flinch him there. He gets down to about 36% HP. Fire Blast connects. Gets it down to 16% HP. I was like, oh no, that's not good. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, we have to either flinch or just kill it off. And he goes for the Calm Minds. That must have been a misclick or something. Maybe he thought I'd switch out, but into what, you know? He ends up going to Cinccino here. We get a free Iron Head. That's a little under half health. So maybe I think it's pretty important to save the Brave Bird. Would have been a bad option there. I would have ended up dying here. Even though it would have been more damage to Cinccino, I would have died. We Iron Head here. I get a free chance to switch into Ferrothorn to keep Skarmory alive. Obviously, he's faster than Audino, who does have Regenerator, which kind of sucks. So that's kind of an issue. Maybe that's why they weren't Mega Evolving it. It's because it had... It would make more sense having Regenerator. Then I think it gets Healer when it Mega Evolves. So that's probably why. I started setting up spikes because he's gonna keep trying to switch out Audino to heal it back up. And Cinccino obviously can't do much with Ferrothorn, so I paralyzed, thinking, okay, maybe it stayed in. I could like cripple the Audino even more, or even if Kecleon came in. I missed the Leech Seed here, which is actually a good thing. I can keep going for the paralysis, or setting up more spikes and not having Audino come in and Fire Blast me. Knockoff comes up here, does a bit of damage to me, which kind of sucks. I do set up spikes though, because I kind of thought, okay, Rock Blast isn't going to do nearly enough to really bother me at all. I can get my 3rd layer spikes up for sure. I end up leeching him here to force him out, because he's on a timer at that point. And he goes for the Fire Blast here. Obviously, actually doesn't take out Ferrothorn. So that special defense investment coming up big there. It probably would have otherwise. So he's pretty much almost dead at this point. I can go for the power up and finish him off. And Kecleon's not going to be able to beat through all 3 of my things. I thought, oh my gosh, we're actually going to win this fight now. Kecleon takes 25% coming in. Does a Fire Punch to Ferrothorn. It's obviously going to take him out. And I know that he's not Choice Scarf. So I can go in this. I basically sacrificed Skarmory at this point. I knew I had Magnezone just to finish him off. I want to do as much damage as possible. I Roost there for Skarmory, and then I Iron Head, playing some mind games with him, you know, keeping Skarmory alive. Even if he killed me there, it wouldn't have mattered, but we're trying to take it out with Skarmory, not have to go in the Magnezone. I end up roosting here again. Fire Punch comes in and does about 40%, and luckily we don't get burned again, so we're able to pretty much finish him off. We go for the Iron Head, down to 15% HP. He actually goes for another one there, and he gets the crit. So that crit obviously matters, but, you know, it's fine. We have magnezone here. We're going to go in and just Volt Switch and finish him off. So that's that fight. It was way closer than I thought it was going to be in the beginning of the fight. I thought I was going to win pretty handily. He gets a bit of hacks, I get a bit of hacks. We end up winning pretty close in the end, so, you know, it's a good win. You know, this team was, at this point, my team finally started to come together, I think. The team started acting a lot better. So at this point forward, the team, I won a lot more with it. Almost forgot we had one last fight here against Meowth. Nip. So I guess like Catnip. Pretty funny, I guess. He has a ground type team, so it's actually a pretty bad matchup, but we end up winning this one anyway. Landorus, Mamoswine, Hippowdon, excadrill, so obviously like some stupid sand setup with Hippowdon, Gastrodon, and Steelix. Have a weird team, if you ask me. But he used this Landorus, which was kind of expected. My Rock Slide does a lot less damage than I thought it would. I thought, okay, he'll probably go for like a Focus Blast or something. So as long as I get one of my two, like either a Flinch or a Miss, I thought I'd be in a good spot. Going to Heatran here, he goes for the Earth Power Predict. And he messes up there. However, Focus Blast almost kills me anyway. Pass my Balloon. We go for the Lava Plume. Takes him down to about 22%. Don't get a burn hacks. I Protect, thinking, okay, maybe he'll waste his Focus Blasts. He goes for another Earth Power there, obviously, since he can hit me. Then he goes for the Focus Blast, and sadly it hits. So that's our Heatran out of the way. He wasn't too important in this matchup, especially after his Air Balloon was popped. He wasn't going to be very helpful at all. He goes into Hippowdon. I kind of figured he would, but I didn't want to like Earthquake and then, you know, have him stay in and kill me with a nice Predict. He goes into Hippowdon. He switches back into Landorus here. I'm in Skarmory. He goes for the Focus Blast, and luckily it misses. However, it wouldn't have done that much damage to Skarmory. Either way, I had my Sturdy, and I didn't really need him after this. Besides maybe to set up Stealth Rocks, but, you know, most of the ground is immune to it anyway. And my Heatran was already dead, so there was no point in like trying to switch in Skarmory to protect Heatran. So Skarmory was kind of expendable at that point, so that's why I kind of justified switching him or keeping him in against Landorus. Spike Scope here against Steelix, I'm not too worried about what he can do. He does a good bit of damage, but after the Leftovers and Leech Seed coming back, we have a good bit of HP back. So he has to switch out into his Gastrodon here. Really weird switch. Obviously go for the spikes, and he ends up staying in here. And actually goes for the Ice Beam and doesn't get the freeze hacks, and I just Power Whip him, obviously, and take him out. It was really weird about what he was trying to do there. I'm not really sure. Maybe he thought I would switch, thinking maybe he had Hidden Power Fire. I don't really know. Either way, I was going to win at that point. Excadrill can be taken out by Ferrothorn pretty easily. Even after the Sand setup, obviously, even if it's Sand Force, I don't think it's going to take out Ferrothorn that easily. Hippowdon, again, can be taken out by Ferrothorn, since I'm pretty sure it didn't have Fire Fang. Mamoswine, I had Excadrill with Choice Scarf for it, and then Steelix I can wear down over time. Especially with Magnezone and then Excadrill. They can wear him down, and then Scizor could finish it off, or even like Ferrothorn could obviously pretty much out-heal its Earthquake. Those are the fights I have for you guys though today. Like I said, I'll leave in the description below like the analysis for like the EV spreads and whatnot, because I'm already at like I think over 20 minutes in this video, so I want to kind of end it quickly. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more of our content, check out our channel. We have plenty more videos like this. I'm actually reaching the end of my Monotype journey. I've done almost all the types now in a row. It's been like I think 14 weeks now in a row I've done Monotype videos. I might go into doubles afterwards, maybe some Ubers, Little Cups some people have asked for, so who knows, we'll see. All in good time though. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, we hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day.